Hello, 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 my salon friends. Phil Jackson here with another dose of salon wisdom for you. But you lucky people, it's guest episode time, which means it's not my wisdom that we're going to be worrying about. I'm going to be talking today to Marta Zaczkowska, who is a global waxing expert and a waxing business mentor. She's the professional line distributor for Zaga Wax. She's an educator, best-selling author. She's also an industry speaker, a judge, and a campaigner dedicated to raising standards in waxing. Let's get her on the show, shall we?
All on Build Your Salon.
So, Marta, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone.
You're very welcome here, and you're one of those interesting people that's kind of been on my radar, and I've known of you for a really long time, but apart from bumping into you at a trade show a couple of weeks ago, I don't think we've ever had a proper conversation, have we? So I'm really looking forward to getting to know you a little bit and find out a bit more about your business.
Sure.
So, you came to the UK from Poland in 2006, it says in your bio. Were you in the salon industry before you came?
Yes, I've qualified just a year before, and I had opportunity to come to London just for holidays, actually. So there was no plans of settling here, but I got sucked in, and 17 years later, I'm still here. So it just happened organically that I came, I fell in love with it, and then I started to look for a job. And I found a job in a chain, actually. Can we say the names in here?
Of course you can.
Yeah.
We'll ask them for cash later.
It was a chain of the tanning shop. So it wasn't even a particularly a beauty salon. And I think that was crucial in my career because the first job was more specific. They wanted me just to do waxing. So I didn't really have much of a choice. But previous to that in Poland, I did my college, I did my apprenticeships, I worked a few months in a salon. So I had some of experience, but I wasn't yet shaped as a waxing therapist.
Okay. So that niching journey then happened actually very early on for you, didn't it?
It has. The thing was, Phil, I didn't speak English when I came to this country. So when I went for the job interview, it was a bit funny. I did not understand completely what they wanted from me. And
Okay.
I didn't get that the job role was, I thought I would be doing other things as well. I really loved the fact that we had free tanning sunbeds. So that was a very good perk of the job. And then quickly I realized that I was there just to literally remove people's hairs. So I had to quickly adjust and learn
Okay.
English.
And then you've stuck with that niche and carved out a very well-established reputation in waxing. Why did you decide to stay with that niche? Is it because you particularly enjoy it, or because the business was good? Or what's been the benefit to you as a business owner to stay with the niche?
I feel like very early on I felt it and I understood the benefits of it. And if you are listening to this and you are at the beginning of your career, maybe you wonder whether waxing is for you. I think there's a few signs. Number one, I was definitely the therapist that liked to do quick treatments, quick results, something that was like, wow. So 2-hour facials or 2-hour massages were not really for me. I'm also a very chatty person, so waxing was one of those things that I could use a bit of my character and put people at ease, so that helped. And the financial aspect. I was lucky that my, at that time, boss was sharing numbers with me. Numbers, targets. I didn't know much about profit at that time, but I quickly realized that we were making more money than nails and other treatments, and that he put a lot of praise on us as well. So I quickly saw that there was a benefit of doing waxing, and that was also reflecting on my wages. So it was a no-brainer, and I love the fact that people trust me. The trust and people returning to you for years and years. Their loyalty, and you're doing something quite difficult and remarkable. So that was it for me. I realized that I want to specialize in waxing.
Okay. And do you think there's an argument for more businesses specialising in certain areas?
So when I first started to call myself waxing specialist, and I've opened my salon quite quickly, it was 11 years ago, I was criticized I was told that I won't make it because I should have more treatments in one place, that people will not stay. And it was a risky decision to make. But look where we are now. Being a specialist, if anything, now it's super popular and clients don't mind traveling to that one hairdresser. I'm going to be honest, I dye my hair and I might cut my hair in 2 different places. So it's the same, I think, with when you're creating a business, a space that just gives that level of service and is top notch and the people know they get the best. There's no reason why people will not come back regularly. So the argument of I should have more services in there, I was just not really feeling that way. I wanted to do something new, something better. And the way how I kind of came around to this was I saw a business that was not from beauty, actually, was in yoga, in wellness. And they were very specific how they were doing things. There were online bookings only. This is 11 years ago. So I kind of look at them and I thought, this works. If I can just get inspired by them and create that for waxing industry, waxing clients, that will work. And it certainly did.
Fantastic. And I love any story where people are taking inspiration from outside the industry, because I think it's so tempting just to copy what other salons are doing, and actually it's a mistake, because what we end up with is a very generic, very bland offering. We need to get ideas from somewhere, but I think actually looking outside the industry is very smart. So business benefit wise then, you've talked about the money side of things on waxing being attractive to you. What do you think the benefits are of niching though? What do you think being a specialist has brought to your business?
So number one benefit is that you position yourself straight away as an expert above everyone else. And when you have that name, when you're claiming the name of a specialist and you're obviously using that constantly in your messaging, you become that go-to person. Everyone knows that you're the one that does either male waxing, pregnancy waxing, and that helps also in the digital world, because the SEO, we all know how important it is. If your messaging is very on point and not too complicated, you use certain words, you become more visible. So the expert position, the visibility, also if you do something all the time, every day, you really become a master of it. You don't come to work fearing things or worrying that you won't be able to treat the client or you have a difficult client situation, because you know you are just so good in what you do, which gives you a satisfaction. So the therapists that are going, when they first started going to the salon and they ask you to do all the treatments, there is no one who loves all the treatments. I've never met a therapist who will say, I love doing, and also jumping from one to another. You might get used to it over time, but I feel like we all have that one thing that we particularly like doing more. So being a specialist means you're literally doing all day long something that you love. And that is a massive benefit for your mental health, for your well-being, because you just literally do what you like doing, not what you have to do.
I think while you've been talking, actually, the other thing that occurred to me is if you are offering multiple services, all different areas, suddenly you've got an enormous amount of competition, because you're literally competing with every other salon. As soon as you start specialising, the competition starts to melt away a little bit, doesn't it? Because you're only competing with other waxing specialists, and there aren't many of those around.
Now we have more therapists that are positioning themselves on the market as a specialist. And I think that's great. You know why? Because that's a benefit to the clients. Because if it was only few, it was still like, let's be honest, waxing did not have the best reputation. And that's why I've started the campaign of raising standards in waxing. So we all can step up a bit. That we don't want to be like, oh, only specialists are good and the normal salons are not so good. We want everyone to be good, right? But now I see that people are more brave to go for single service business, which is exactly what my model is. One service or very niche. You can niche even further in. So when I started my business, it was waxing services. Mm-hmm. Then I niched down to female services only. Then we niche down to intimate waxing only and pregnancy. So you could do really whatever you want. And so when I started, as I said, I was very criticized and people didn't see the vision, and that happens often. So if you have a vision and you believe in it, you just have to really go and work hard, and also do the diligence, like you have to be good. So make sure you have that skills.
And you just lightly touched on the fact that you're campaigning to raise the standards, and I mentioned that in your intro as well. What's lacking? What's missing? Where are we going wrong?
So it all starts in education, but we don't want to say that college education is not good. It's good, but it's just we're missing slightly on that waxing side. There could be more done. And then also after college, I think you have to realize that college is just preparing you with the basics. And then if you want to become a specialist in waxing, you do have to get additional training yourself to make sure that you have those higher standards. So the main problem we have in UK, because I know you have listeners from all over the world, is that we are not regulated industry, which means that you don't need qualifications to do waxing or to have insurance. And that's quite a dangerous space to be in. So people often break a basic rules of hygiene. So for example, they double dip, or they don't wear gloves, or they don't have disposable materials. And in waxing, well, specifically intimate waxing, and just we cannot be unsafe, because that is not fair on our clients, and that makes us in a very bad position as a professionals. So there are basic rules, obviously, of hygiene, but there are also other things like waxing consultation. When you go to hairdressers and you have a hair dye, they have to do a patch test and consultation and know what is that you wanted to have done with your hair. And I believe the same should be mandatory with waxing consultation, and possibly waxing patch tests. And that will make us more professional and also safer, less claims, less problems, everyone will be happier. So that is my aim with this campaign.
Fantastic. So at some stage, and I'd love to find out what the trigger was. So at some stage you went from salon owner, business owner, niche business owner, into becoming a judge and a speaker and a writer and a trainer. When did that journey start? What came next?
So having a salon means that at some point you're going to grow and you might need staff. So that was me as well. Very quickly that happened, that I needed to hire people, and I realized that I was lacking management skills, all that jazz, all that systems. So I had to educate myself and get a mentor and, finish courses. When I started to then teach my staff the practical part of waxing, I realized that I had a gift. I was very good in bringing people's skills up and also giving them confidence, because you have to be confident in waxing. So when I realized that I was good at that, and I had therapists that became finalists on national awards, and they then opened their own businesses, I loved that part. And I decided that, okay, I want to be involved more in the industry, because I think I have something to give. I want to also encourage other therapists that are not from here, UK, or, different countries, or they're not speaking English, that you can also be a part of the industry. Industry is very inclusive, so why not? And during pandemic, we had all a lot of time. I qualified, I did award in education and training, and then I became more visible. I was literally everywhere. I remember we've met first at Clubhouse. I don't know if you remember.
Oh goodness, Clubhouse. Yeah, that was an interesting time.
Interesting time, is it? But that's what it was, because we all had time, and I was just everywhere, trying to get to publications. You just literally have to knock the doors and ask people and say who you are and what you do. And gradually, I decided, yes, this is what I want to do. I want to have consultancy. I want to help other businesses. So I stepped out of the salon, and I just started the journey with working with other businesses and with other therapists.
Fantastic. And then there's a lot of strings to your bow, so fill in any gaps if I'm missing any. So you're writing, you're educating, you're campaigning, you're still a salon owner.
Yeah.
And you're also this kind of industry figurehead in an awful lot of ways. two questions really. Firstly, what's next? But we'll talk about that in just a second. But how do you decide where you spend your time? How do you decide what you're going to be working on? How do you prioritize when you're running multiple businesses and multiple streams of revenue like that?
So even though I'm so passionate about the industry, and if I could, I would be everywhere, but you can't. Time is currency as well. I do look at what is the most needed. So I have a Facebook group with almost 5,000 now waxing professionals from all over the world. And I do look at the group and is what those people talk about. What is that is needed? How can I then plug in and help? Because I could come up with many programs and things that I already know, but that doesn't mean it will be helpful. And also there's this side of a business. Obviously it's my time, it's my business. So I look at where's the money as well, where I can fit in, help and also generate. So I've made a decision of putting a lot of effort into online education so I can be available everywhere, not just in UK. So that was the one prioritizing bit. Second bit is I really wanted to have my own wax, my own brand, because the question number one in my group when people coming in is, which wax do you recommend? And over the years, I've been very politically correct. I just didn't want to be attached to one specific brand. So for years and years, I was saying, I don't have a one brand, but I have one that I prefer. I've never attached my name to any brand. I've worked with many of them. And this was the time when I thought, okay, this is where my focus is now. But it's hard, yourself, when you're such an entrepreneurial spirit, you do want to do a lot and you have to prioritize. So my plans for next year is I want to get certified as a business strategist, so we can really help more in terms of waxing salons, waxing management. That's the one thing. And those programs will obviously be for people that already are in waxing and want to take that next step. So I think there's a lot of plans. I always go with what people want, what feels right as well, and what brings me income. Does that answer?
Fantastic. Absolutely. Tell me more about putting your own wax together then. How does that process even begin? So you've obviously identified a need. People are coming to you frequently because you're a trusted figure in the industry saying, what do you use? You obviously weren't comfortable putting your name to somebody else's product for whatever reason. And so you've decided to create your own. How does that begin?
Do you want the official version or the unofficial version?
Oh, let's go unofficial. Why not?
Not a bit of a gossip, are we? No. So it's been on my mind for a while, but I feel like with anything, you need to make that decision, and decision is also that starting point. And I couldn't make the decision for a very long time. And I almost feel like the circumstances that I was in allow me to then decide. So a few months ago, I was approached by a big company in US. I'm not going to mention the name doesn't matter. But they wanted me to come on board. And everything kind of lined up well. I was really considering, but there were a few things that just didn't feel right with me. Also, company was mainly run by men and not from the industry as well. So they needed me to kind of put the face to the brand and make it friendly for professionals. And I had a few just a personal issues with this. I didn't know whether this is what I should be doing and put, my many years you're working for your brand and you know that before you actually attach your name to a brand, you have to be 100% sure. And I was just not having that feel. But working with them, we worked for about 3 months behind the scenes on the launch in UK. So it was quite a long time. I kind of decided, I think I know so much about it. And I started in my head to think of, if this was my company, I would have done this, and this. And I thought, I can't do it with them. I just have to go solo. So the decision was made and there was no hard feelings. We literally decided, okay, we're going apart because I have a call and my call is to have my own brand. And I've decided to go for it. So it takes a long time. I don't want anyone to think for a second that having your own brand, your product is easy. It's a lot of decision you have to make and how you want the company to be, the vision, the mission and the message, because I don't want to be just another wax brand. So lots of work behind the scenes, but I feel like it just felt right, Phil. It came to me, and that situation made me realize, okay, it's time.
Superb. So at the moment, then, what's your launch schedule? When are you looking to bring it into the world to everybody?
So if it was up to me, I would have done it immediately. Because I don't have actually diagnosed ADHD, but I think I am somewhere there.
Okay.
I would have gone, oh my God, I have a waxing brand. You can't do that in business. You have to launch properly. So I've decided, okay, let's wait till the end of the year. But there's a lot of factors when it comes to distributing and then selling to people, is that before Christmas is like the worst time to send people stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Because if we have a snow in London, even worse, or in UK. So I thought no one before Christmas has time to learn about new brands or then introduce it to the clients. I think I need people's focus. So I decided new year, new wax. It's going to be end of January, where I have a bit of more people's attention. When everyone is ready to take that next step in their businesses. I will be giving a lot of free education. And it won't be just the typical model of you go on a website and buy the product. So it will be much more than that. End of January. I also, at the moment, I am promoting the brand, but on a smaller scale. If anyone wants to be the first one to know when we're starting or what's available, there's a newsletter to sign up for. And then if you sign up, then you will be the first one to know.
Fantastic. Well, all of the links to Marta's work are going to be in the description underneath this episode, because I know there's an awful lot that you do. There's so many dimensions to your business. It's fascinating to see how the business is kind of growing and developing, and how you're stepping into these different roles so smoothly. It's wonderful. So some questions to finish up. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you if they want to find out more about anything that you've spoken about today?
All the links that Phil is going to put in the notes. I'm on social media, Instagram, I'm on Facebook, but I think the best is just to sign to a newsletter, because with the newsletter you get closer to me as well. I send a very good email on Friday, which is catch up with Marta. And I kind of summarize the week, but I give you some learnings too. Things that I've learned, things that I see in the industry, things that are coming up. So the newsletter will be a great free resource for you also of knowledge. And other than that, just social media.
Superb. And 3 quick questions, which I never warn people about.
Okay.
Firstly, what is the best thing about the salon industry?
Wow, good question. The best thing about the industry is that we have unlimited potential of what we can do. There is no limit of what you could do in a business. Starting from being an apprentice, going to working in a salon, being a salon owner, or before that, working from home mobile, having a salon, having a staff, having a franchise, having the wax distribution. There's literally, I'm sure, in a year time, I'm going to come up with something next because the industry allows me to fill into so many roles and expand.
Superb. What is the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, can I think about something straight away? I feel like if you feel that something is right in your gut, go for it. Even when people say that you shouldn't do it. I mean, obviously, people the closest to you look at the pros and cons. But if something gives you the fire in your belly, I would say always attempt, try it. Don't go and risk it.
And if you were going to give a piece of advice to someone right at the beginning of their career, but they were inspired by your journey, what would that advice be?
At the beginning of the career? Just at the beginning, okay. At the beginning of your career, you might not yet to feel like you need a mentor, but I think when you're on your journey and you're starting to see problems that you cannot solve yourself, you're gonna need that external help. So it doesn't matter where you are at the business at any point, if you're just starting or you many years of a salon owner, ask for help. That is my advice. Ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask. You have many options. You have free groups on Facebook. You could listen to Phil's podcast and any other industry expert. You've got YouTube channels, and Phil also had a YouTube channel. So many free resources. So don't stop learning, basically. And then if you come up with problems, ask for help of people that have done it.
That's perfect. Thank you so much for joining us today, Marta. I found it fascinating, and I know lots of our listeners will too. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, what an amazing, inspiring story. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Marta as much as I did. Just 7 short days until I'm coming in your ears and eyes again with another episode of the Build Your Salon podcast. And until then, take care.